Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to another tutorial. Hope you guys are having an excellent happy holidays. Today we're going to be looking at a fantastic simple plugin called Master Magic. This has two intentions behind it. One being to boost the air on your mix or individual tracks. And so boosting your high end, giving it that little air if something is not bright enough, if it doesn't cut through the mix, or if your mix is maybe, not bright enough, it's too dark. This is going to be an excellent plugin to bring out those details in the high end. And the second one is going to be tightening up the low end. And that is with the module here, the mono/stereo. And what that does is it turns the frequency and below, so say like 90 hertz or 120 hertz, to mono. Just a classic thing that's available in many other plugins like Isotope Imager, many other plugins that can help tighten up the bass by putting it in the center, in the mono field. So this is great and it can be used. It's very versatile. It's intended by the developer to be put on the cherry on top. It's like the cherry on top of your mix. So you want this as the last plugin in your effects chain. So for instance, here I had a Pro Q, a linear phase EQ. Okay. I have my Pro L, my limiter, and then Master Magic. Just ignore Fruity Balance, and this is just for the tutorial. But Master Magic is going to be the cherry on top. It's going to be after all that you do. This will not replace multi-band compression, correcting problems in your mix. You still want to address that, but this is just to give it a little bit of brightness boost. And if used moderately, it can really make your mix sound much better than it already does. When it comes to individual tracks like a vocal or a lead, it can make them a bit brighter, help them cut through the mix. And the modules are very simple. We have a preset menu here with some built-in presets. We have a bypass module. So that means bypass is on, so we will not play it with it on. We have a volume, and a note on volume is that this is actually also a brickwall limiter. It is 0 latency, but it will clip the input to 0 dB. So don't be concerned if you're going to boost the high end and then it starts going over 0 dB. This will keep it in check. And then we have the two modules here for the kind of the main thing is the amount all the way up to 6 dB. On my mix, I liked it around 0.8, 1 dB. And then we have this, the frequency. Now in the manual, they state that 40 kilohertz, the choice there, because it's kind of like a, I believe they said a band shelf EQ. It adds some high-end air, but not in an obnoxious, harsh way. It's kind of like a pleasing, nice air that it adds to the mix, the overall mix, the mix down. But they recommend using 40 kilohertz range for master, and then they recommend 30 kilohertz when you're trying it on like a vocal or a lead or something. Again, experiment and see what works out. But I wanted to really share this because this is so simple, and sometimes you can get great results just using a simple plugin. So we'll go into an example of that after I explain this section, which is the mono stereo. So for me, I know that the frequency, my song is in D sharp, and a lot of times I like to plug in EQ values based on the notes. It doesn't have to be done that way, but I know that around 78 hertz is D sharp, and I know around 155, 155.6 is another D sharp, and 155 and below, if I make it mono, it will help to bring a bit more punch because then you're centralizing those frequencies. And many producers do this, not all the time. You don't always have to put your sub frequencies into mono, but they do help glue everything together, especially when it's done in the end. So experiment with that. They do have this module here, which I found a bit confusing, where instead of selecting a frequency, you can kind of see, you can see here, you can see references for the notes, but it kind of was a bit odd, kind of off-putting to me. I'll link you guys a sheet that you guys can look at online, just an online sheet that shows you all the frequencies. But if you didn't know and you're wondering, Ali, what are you talking about, these frequencies? Let's say you're using FabFilter. If you double click and you just type in like D sharp 1, that's what I mean. So D sharp 1 is 38.9 approximately. D sharp 2 is 77, like I said, and D sharp 3 is 155.56. So knowing that, you could go in there and be like, I want to tighten up like the third octave or the fourth octave. But don't worry about those. That's a bit more sophisticated. You could always just be like, I like how this sounds, 120 hertz. So first, what we'll do, because the mono portion is a bit simpler to understand, we're going to just solo it. And let's go ahead and just listen to this. It's basically soloing the mono stereo field. We'll pull it all the way down first. Put it around 130. What you're hearing there is what it's putting in mono. So yeah, it's cutting into my lead as well, but I'm gonna just leave it at 120 for now. Whatever, that's fine. What we're gonna do now is I really want to show the main powerhouse of this is the air, and we'll come back to this. I'll talk about the split range. The air is just a one knob up to 6 dB, and let's listen to what it sounds like without Master Magic. So this is no Master Magic. Let's go ahead and crank it up. Let's put it at like 4 dB. Apologize for the lag. It does get a bit intensive. This definitely, for me, I liked it when it started to just pop in. So what I mean by that is, like, I like to go extreme, and then I like to, just work my way into it and see where I like it. And for me, I liked it around 0.8 to around 1.0 because it added a bit of air, but it didn't go too much. So let's go ahead and listen. So it can add a little bit of air, but not being extremely obnoxious. This is kind of like, it's not as important in this module, but it's also important. It is important to tighten up the bass, and I like it around that 155 for me. But as a general rule, if you're wondering what is a good frequency, usually if you never know what you're doing, just do 120. Just do 120 hertz, because below 120 hertz is a lot of just subsonic frequencies that is better off probably in the center channel in the mono. On the right here, which I was going to say, you can choose the range that you can choose it, because if you wanted to go crazy, you could make all the way up to 20 kilohertz mono, which I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if you want to do that, you can dictate the maximum value. So for me, because I wanted to do 155, I chose that, and it gives me that ability to go up to 155 or whatever frequency you want. You can also, like I said, put this on a lead, which is what I did. So we'll go ahead and close this on the master. And I had it on a lead, and on the lead, I got a bit more aggressive. Let's go ahead and listen to just the lead. We'll solo just the lead, and let's see what it sounds like with and without. So this is bypassed. Now on. Even though it's not that much, sometimes in the vast majority of things, especially when you listen to it with other instruments, it can definitely add a lot. And I just love that it's zero latency and it's a brickwall limiter, because this can give you guys a tool that can just enhance things. If you're looking to enhance things a simple way, then check out the demo. It's a 30-day demo. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. I'm working on finishing that big room project to share the FLP and the rest of the video series for you guys as well. Hit subscribe. Make sure you guys hit the notification bell so you guys are alerted of my uploads when I upload. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great new year. Take care.